What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Gem Mint, and today we're going to unbox and review the Maximum Carnage Fine Art bust from PCS. Easily my most anticipated statue ever. I'm a huge fan of the Maximum Carnage storyline. I'm a big fan of life-size busts and 1/10 scale dioramas, and this piece has it all. Now there's no art box here, so we're just going to take a quick look at the shipper. I got number 70 out of 300 for the exclusive. But before we jump into the unboxing, the assembly, the review, I'm going to talk about my history with the Maximum Carnage storyline. I got to tell you guys about Encore. Encore is an online selling app that got their start with Funko Pops, retro video games, and now they've just opened their comic book category up. If I had to describe the app, it's kind of like eBay mixed with YouTube. You'll list an item like a 7-day auction or a buy it now with the best offers available, but instead of listing pictures, you'll post a video. So this gives collectors or sellers an opportunity to not only showcase the item, but give a little history, give some backstory on what it is they're selling, how they came across it, maybe where they found it, any notable defects, and how they came up with the price. Let's go shopping for some comics and see what's available right now. It looks like auctions are pretty popular here. All you gotta do is swipe up to bid. And just like eBay, you can set your max bid, you can save auctions and get notified when there's 5 minutes left. Here we have an auction for a Mark Spears Monsters #1, limited to just 250 copies. 3 days, 6 hours, and 8 minutes left to bid on this, with 17 bids so far. They also have a built-in giveaway system that runs for 7 days, and then a winner is automatically drawn. Encore takes trust and safety very seriously, so all of their sellers, myself included, are ID verified. That's right, I set up my own page over on Encore. You can buy statues, you can buy omnibus, single issue comics, and you are protected by the Encore guarantee. So just in case you buy something off of the app that's not as described, Encore's got your back. Use my link to download the app. I got it in the description and in the pinned comment, and make sure to follow my page over there as well. By the time you see this video, I've probably got a giveaway posted and some auctions and buy it nows. All right, with that out the way, let's get into the Maximum Carnage Fine Art bust unboxing. All right, we've got a 3-layer box with some straps. You can see this Maximum Carnage Fine Art bust, platinum exclusive. It's a piece of cardboard on top. I didn't know what it was at first. I thought it might have been an envelope. Underneath that, we can see the PCS logo etched into the lid, along with this platinum edition box. I love the foil logo on the front, and inside, it's got some gloves, just like classic PCS used to do, but these are black gloves, and you have a metal nameplate here, so this is pretty cool as well. I got number 70 out of just 300 for the platinum exclusive. You've got PCS on the back, a QR code, and of course you have your dusting brush. Under that layer, we have a ton of pieces, mostly symbiotes, but some other goodies in there as well. A ton of these symbiote pieces, and they have such a great high gloss paint on them, just like the two tongues here. That high gloss makes them look so slimy. So you have the regular edition and the exclusive. I want to say the tongue was the collector's edition. Everybody who ordered it got at least the tongue sticking out, but the exclusive had the tongue stopper. I don't really remember, to be honest, but the tongue looks great. Then we have some more symbiote pieces. You have some bigger ones, smaller ones. They have color-coded keyholes, and we've got the glider. Man, I love me some Demogoblin. Some of my favorite characters in Maximum Carnage, but love the painted flame, looks great. Here's 2 more pieces of symbiote. And then we have that long Carnage hand, the puppet string symbiote tendrils. Such a great concept here. Big shout out to the K-Bros. Getting inspired from Amazing Spider-Man 380 Part 11 out of 14 for Maximum Carnage. Then we have some more symbiote pieces here. Just grabbed a handful of them, but great shine to them, great movement. And then we have our first head sculpt, none other than Venom. So it appears to be about 1/10 scale, maybe a little bit smaller if I compared it to like an Iron Studios piece. But I do like the head. It's gonna look great when we assemble Venom. Here we have some bigger symbiote tendrils. Again, you can see those color-coded keys. Almost an equal amount of pieces on this one, but this time I'm seeing a lot more of the other characters, and I can't wait to get into those. Before we get into it though, we gotta take a look at some more symbiote tendrils. There are a ton of them on this piece. But then here we have Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat. So cool to get this character as part of the diorama. Great high gloss on her outfit, that leather costume, the white boots, the white gloves, the white hair. Then we have Shriek, Carnage's BM. No, but she looks great as well. Black and white also, but has a different, unique look compared to Black Cat. They're going to be fighting each other. And then what did I say? When you get that Venom head sculpt on, this piece just pops. I love the paint job, man. You got that nice shade of blue on top of the black. And even the emblem, it's like an off-white. It looks great. The muscle details, kind of the shadowing around those crevices, tongue sticking out, Venom swinging. Next to one of my favorite characters of all time, man, Doppelgänger. Love this character. The fact that it had a face like how Venom did, but to the red and blue, always intrigued me about this character. And the 6 arms. The sculpt looks incredible on this one. And then Demo, we might as well get him onto the glider. So 2 notches will key him in. And he looks great too, man. Always dug his costume with the blue on the outside, red on the inside, and his kind of yellowish, greenish skin really pops here. This is definitely my favorite Goblin. Always liked the real demon Goblin. Demo was always weird though. And then we have one half of Cloak and Dagger. We have just Cloak here. You can see he's got some of the Carnage tendril wrapped around his waist and his leg. That's going to key in with those longer pieces. Love how the cape looks, a lot of movement, the blue and black stripes. Too bad there's no Dagger. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, we've got Peter Parker, Spider-Man himself. It's the straight Mark Bagley version of this character. Love the bug eyes. It's got a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 pose almost. Great sculpt. He's lean and athletic like he should be. All right, then we have another Carnage piece. This is almost like a quarter-scale Carnage. Put that portrait on there. You can see the shine on the black parts, just like those symbiote tendrils, but then it's more of a matte reddish look underneath, almost like a muscle look. And then a larger portrait here. This is going to be the portrait for the Puppet Master Carnage, but again with the shine. Love the paint applications on the white part of his eyes. Got the texture on the red part of his skin. Tongue sticking out. And then onto the bottom layer, we can see the life-size Carnage bust, but there's actually one other piece. We're only going to take a look at this piece because the bust is so heavy. It's the body for the puppeteer Carnage. We'll put the portrait on, and I love the tendrils going to red and black on the bottom. It blends in so well once you assemble it too. You can see the muscles, the 6-pack, moving over to the back. We're going to see what he keys in. Awesome, man. The paint applications look great on this, man, and on that life-size bust. Let's get that on the table and take a look at the base before we start putting everything together. So you can see we've got New York City. It's being engulfed by the black symbiote. Love that detail because you have this life-size bust and these smaller buildings underneath it. It reminds me of the Web of Shadows video game. All right, but let's get this assembled. So you have a couple of large pieces. This goes on the back kind of by his neck, and then over here more on his skull. Connects in 2 places. Then we're going to connect the symbiote on the back of this kind of quarter scale Carnage, and then he's going to go in, and that's like straight out of the Maximum Carnage video game poster. We've got a couple tendrils that are going to go on top of his head, so that one, and then we'll get a little bit close up here right above the eye. All right, then on the cheek there's a tendril, and then you have this one under his jaw, which was kind of hard to get to. We got a tendril on the other side of his jaw, kind of coming off of his lip there. All right, now this piece of symbiote with 2 blue keys was kind of hard to get in. I almost thought I had a backwards magnet, but after a little bit, it stayed, so we're good there. And I love how this one keys in right where his teeth are, and he's kind of drooling down the side of his mouth. This tendril goes on the building on the back. Another one above his left eye. All right, then we're gonna get this tendril in place before we key on the puppeteer Carnage. He also has a tendril that wraps around his bicep. So then we're gonna key in this big piece. And there we go. There's another smaller piece of tendril that's gonna go on his forearm. And then we've got one last piece of tendril kind of behind his right shoulder in front of his left eye. All right, and then we can do the puppeteer hand. That keys in pretty nice, and you have all those long pieces of symbiote. All right, we might as well show his mouth with the kind of tongue stopper. If you're gonna give me this tongue, we might as well use it. All right, and this is actually where I forgot a piece. So we're gonna put this tendril right behind his right jaw and then key this Carnage back in. So I missed that step. All right, on to Demogoblin. So he's gonna go behind the tendrils. He's gonna key in via the glider and on his back. And the tendrils will just be kind of swinging in front of him, connecting to Venom. So the last tendril on the left will key into Venom's leg here, and then he's gonna key in via a peg on his back, and then we're gonna put the next tendril in his right hand. All right, next up we got Black Cat. Like I said, she's gonna face off versus Shriek. And then here we have Shriek facing off against Black Cat. That's a great scene right there. Then we have the doppelganger Spider-Man. All right, so Cloak's gonna slide on underneath this tendril. He's gonna key in, and then we're gonna plug that symbiote tendril into his waist. And then down here, there's another one that keys into his leg. All right, then Spider-Man is the last one. So this actually connected to his bicep without even trying. Then I keyed him into the black symbiote and just made sure that those tendrils were sitting flush and kind of just pushing them down a little bit. All right, guys, I am a really big fan of this piece, and I get that it's not for everybody. It definitely has a lot going on, but I gotta say, this has to be the most artistic statue that I've ever seen and that I've ever owned. First of all, I've always been a big fan of the life-size bust. Even early on in the channel, you've seen me with Sideshow busts, with Queen Studios, including the Queen Studios Carnage. So I love that fact. The only downside to the busts are that they're kind of boring, and this blows that out of the water. You get the life-size bust, but then you get essentially a 1/10 scale diorama here with characters that I love from Maximum Carnage, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. You have what is almost a 1/4 scale, 1/3 scale Carnage with the puppeteer, with those symbiote tendrils holding on to all of them. And then what looks like a 1/4 scale Carnage, an homage from the iconic poster from the storyline, from the video game, looking over the buildings that are engulfed by this symbiote. Man, I just love what's going on here. And Maximum Carnage, that's really like the first comic book storyline that I ever read. You guys have heard me talk about this in the past. I went to the comic shop looking for key issues that were on the back of the 92 Marvel Masterpieces, found out those were expensive, started looking at what was currently out in single issues, a lot of Spawn, I recall, and I remember grabbing the Death of Superman trade paperback and Maximum Carnage, and I just fell in love with Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, the symbiotes, and got introduced to so many cool side characters from this storyline. Of course, you had the Super Nintendo video game, the beat 'em up, which I loved. So this piece is just really hitting on so many different levels for me. Now, I mentioned having Cloak but no dagger. Now, when this first was revealed, I want to say it was 2023, maybe San Diego Comic-Con, PCS mentioned that they wanted to do a Venom and Spider-Man fine art bust in this same vein and include characters that weren't included in this diorama. And there's a ton of characters. First of all, Carry-On is a character I loved from this series. You could do Dagger because you got Cloak on this one. You could have Captain America, Iron Fist, Deathlock would be amazing. And you could even do like a 1/10 scale Carnage on one of those busts because we don't have that on this one. What an incredible piece, and having mentioned those other life-size busts in the past, I feel like this one is on par with the quality of that Queen Studios bust, which is probably the best one out prior to this. The high gloss finish on the black, same quality as the Queen Studios bust. The paint applications on the eyes, it's not a solid white, it's got a lot of life underneath it. It almost looks like parasites are living underneath those eyes. The red looks great on the bust itself and on the smaller characters. And I just love everything about this piece. I hope they continue doing these and have a Venom life-size bust and the Spider-Man one. Although, I'm a little bit nervous because they revealed their Gladiator Hulk, Planet Hulk fine art bust, and it was crazy expensive. This one was just $1,500, the same price as that Queen Studios bust. So I thought it was priced really well. Let's get some quick measurements on it. It looks like this tendril next to the puppeteer hand is the tallest point. So you're looking at about 26 inches tall, probably about 15 inches just to be safe. Now, I was a little upset that it didn't have an art box because, as I'll show you guys in this room tour video that I'm going to be putting out pretty soon, I've been displaying the art boxes, but I got a better idea for this piece. Since you don't want to enclose it in a little kind of cubby hole, I got a perfect place where you can see it from all angles. So make sure to not only like this video, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell because I'm going to do a big room tour video. I didn't get to do one at the end of 2024, so we're going to do it now, early Q1 of 2025. But let me know what you think about the Maximum Carnage Fine Art Bust by PCS in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to leave a couple of 360s for you guys, man. There's a lot to take in. Stay minty fresh. Peace.